everybody. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Jin Moon and welcome to iHome Church. This Sunday we are continuing our celebration in the month of May, the 60th anniversary of the founding of the Unification Church many years ago. Since then, the church has grown into a worldwide movement, and we have brothers and sisters all around the world who are celebrating this month. And you know, in the Asian tradition, the number 60 is incredibly important because number 60 represents one life cycle. And so now that we're entering the second life cycle of our church, this is a wonderful time to ask ourselves, what will the second life cycle of our movement be like? As I'm thinking about this, I went on YouTube and looked up a couple of the videos that I had wanted to see, and I came across this video that I found extremely amusing and inspiring. So I would like to share that with you.
Okay, but I have to yell at you guys.
Okay, Linda, listen, Linda. Listen.
Okay, what?
Like everything they do at this house, you can't trust everything at Grandma's house. You get that birthday off, you're gonna break it.
Okay, but I'm letting you know that you cannot.
Lick it.
You're not listening to me.
Linda,
listen to me now. Listen to me now.
Listen to me.
No, you're not listening. I said no cupcakes. And you try to get cupcakes and you try to ask Grandma.
Linda,
didn't you?
Linda, lick it. If we do something right out,
Wasn't that fantastic? I just could not stop laughing when I first saw it. You know, this little precocious 3-year-old boy named Matthew is trying to get his hands on the cupcakes that his mother is absolutely saying no to. And the way he argues and makes a plea and debates with his mom is just fantastic. And you realize that what he is doing is basically imitating, you know, his mother and father talking to each other. You know, perhaps it's his father saying, Linda, Linda, Linda. And maybe it's his mom saying to Matthew, listen, listen, listen. And maybe it's, you know, the father saying to the mother, honey, honey, honey. But in the mind of this precocious 3-year-old, it all comes together. And here he is using the words that he picked up in the family as his little debate to get what he wants. And we realize that what we're looking at is a snapshot into his family. And when I did a little more research on this little boy, I realized that after having failed in terms of trying to get his hands on the cupcakes through his mother, what he does is he goes to his grandmother and tries to get a cupcake or two out of her. And what is really quite amazing is that with his grandmother, he tries Spanish. But I guess in the end, that didn't go too well either. But the resourcefulness of this young boy, you know, maneuvering the different relationships in his family to try to get his point across or try to get what he wants, I thought was absolutely fantastic. So, after watching this incredibly entertaining video and at the same time asking myself, what kind of a family do we want to be? You know, I started thinking about this story that I've heard quite some time ago. This story is about a preacher who absolutely loved his family. And, you know, he was a godly man. And so he denied himself all the pleasures of life and, you know, was there up in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, prayer, meditation, all the different rituals that he carried out through the day. And he made sure that the words of God were carried forth from his lips to his children. He made his children memorize the good book back and forth until they could recite it. Better than any PhD, I know. And he felt like by becoming a strict disciplinarian and giving them strict set of rules or a clear framework from which they need to work through their life, that he was doing the best that he could do. And so he preached on and on throughout the years. And he realized that his wife grew sick and died and went up to heaven. But he kept on preaching. He preached through the storm, he preached through the rain, through the snow, through lightning and thunder. He preached on beautiful mornings, he preached on cold evenings, he just kept on going. And he realized that all his little toddlers grew up to be huge figures in their communities, and they grew up, they married, and they moved away, and he just kept on preaching. And just like the godly man that he is, he was so sacrificial in that he just kept on going, and many times deprived himself of sleep, of food, thinking that by denying himself he was somehow remembering God, and therefore he could give more and more and more, as much as he could. And one day he found himself in the forest, still preaching to anyone that wanted to hear. But he found himself kind of in this little enclosure where the branches formed a little umbrella over him. And he found a tree stump, and he sat down on the tree stump, and he decided to take a 5-minute break. And when he sat down to take a 5-minute break, he kind of took a look around the forest and realized that he was terribly alone. There was nobody that he really cared about anymore. He realized that his wife had moved on, his children have moved on. He couldn't really remember what it was like to be with a family member anymore. And he realized that as busy as he was preaching, he wasn't busy enough at really attending the members of his family. He didn't really know who they were. And he realized that he preached so hard that over the years, he preached everyone out of his life. And so this incredible realization settled on him like a ton of bricks. And so he fell on his knees, leaning against the tree stump, and he started to pray. He said, God, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? I did everything right. I set strict guidelines. I told the kids what to do. I told them that they have to be and live in your image. I tried to make them the same as me. I tried to create duplicates of me and my family. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? And he listened for an answer. But it was very, very quiet. So he implored God again. He said, God, God, do you not care about me? I realized that I'm terribly alone in the world when you had promised me a beautiful family. Where is my family, and where did I go wrong? Then suddenly, the branches opened up towards the blue sky. He saw a ray of light coming down slowly upon him towards the tree stump where he lay his hands in prayer. And in a quiet and in a fatherly way and in an embracing voice, he heard God say, my dear child, who is love? And when this preacher man heard this question, suddenly all his emotions overtook him, and he just could not stop crying. Because he was so busy, he realized, preaching the word of God, that he forgot to love along the way. He didn't really know his wife. He didn't really know his kids at all. He was the strict disciplinarian. He was the judge. He was the prosecutor, and all of these things all in one. But he didn't really want to be loved for some reason, he realized. He was afraid to love. He was afraid to love, he realized, because he didn't come from the best of families either. So he thought by creating this strict framework and this strict guideline, he was doing a better job than his parents. And he did a much better job. But he realized that all he ended up doing was creating a frame, a very strict framework or guideline for his family. But without having had imbued it with love, it was nothing but a skeleton. And the flesh fell away. His flesh fell away. His children fell away. Even his wife slowly withered and died away. And that's when he realized, oh my goodness, who is love? I have to be love. He realized that he has to be love. And he realized that all he did before was concentrate on the word preaching, when the purpose of preaching is to reach out to different people that are of importance in your life. To reach people means to be relevant to them. It means that you have to know where they are. You have to know what they're going through, what their feelings, what their happiness and their pain is. To preach is to reach. And to reach, you have to appreciate each. Otherwise, you will have nothing but ache. But he realized he didn't know any of that. And in order to reach people, he realized that he has to know each one. He has to know his children, each of them one at a time, because they're all different. He couldn't understand why they couldn't all do the same thing, same way every day. But then he realized that just as he is different from his father, his children are different from him. They are unique, individual creations of God, which he forgot in his attempt, with good motivation, that he didn't realize that they were different. Because what he was concentrating on was creating one family, a unified family. And he understood the word one to mean the same. But he realized that all his children were different people. And different people that he was reaching out to the world was different. And so when he realized this, he just sat there dumbfounded. And he just looked up to God and said, I have to be loved. And that's when God said, hit it. And Bono started singing this song called One. And when this preacher listened to the words in the song One, Bono was singing, we're one, but we're not the same. But we gotta carry each other. We gotta love each other. We gotta take care of each other. And he realized, the preacher man realized, that's what I was missing in life. Here I am, a preacher of a religious community, and I want to create one beautiful community of God. But I thought creating one meant making everybody the same. I didn't realize that the music of the family is not always unison. Many times in religious communities, and I am somebody that knows a thing or two about growing up in a religious community, is that there's such an emphasis on unity. And many times unity is understood as just being the same, do the same thing, wear the same thing, talk the same, think the same, pray the same. Everything is unison prayer, unison song, unison marching. We're on a mission. We're gonna do this. Heavenly soldiers, rah, rah, rah. And unison prayer has its place in a community too. But unison way of living is not a way of life. Certainly, it's not a way of life when you have a family and you have to raise up beautiful children. You realize that when the preacher was concentrating on unity, understanding it, one being the same, and therefore live a life of unison from top to bottom, he was forgetting the big picture. In the language of love, such as music, there's this thing called harmony. And harmony is playing different notes at the same time. Unison is playing the same notes at the same time. So unison makes a great percussion. It's great to march to. It's great if you want to add a little oomph in your music. But if you want to kind of cover the whole universe or the whole array, there's nothing like a beautiful harmony. And harmony is something that you arrive at because you're playing different notes at the same time. And that's the beauty of a family, in that you have all these different characters. You have your mom and your dad, you have your brothers and sisters, you have all your aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews, you have your grandparents, and everyone's different. But we're all one in that we belong to one family. And the preacher, thinking that he had to do only one way, there's only one way to live a life of faith, he didn't realize that all of these character types didn't quite fit in. And so along the way, he didn't see that what he was doing was basically telling everybody in his family, you're not good enough. You don't fit in. Why are you so different? Why are you so difficult? Why can't you be like somebody? Why can't you be like me? That was, in essence, what he was saying. But he didn't realize he was saying that because he was so concentrating on this thing called unity, and he understood it as being same, being playing the same note at the same time, not realizing that unity in the family, you need harmony. So the incredible thing about this man is that because he is a godly man, when God spoke to him and asked him the words, who is love? He was humble enough and open enough to take those words in and kind of go through a review of his life to realize that he has to be love. And he decided that I wasn't effective as a preacher because I wasn't able to reach out to the people that mattered to me. I wasn't able to reach out to each and every one of them so that I can alleviate their heartache. I wasn't able to do that. But if I become love, then I think I can start by forgiving myself for what I could not do before, but by kind of liberating myself from all the things that I did wrong and starting on a clean slate, then I can reach out with a loving heart towards different members of the family that I have alienated over the years. And then when I decide to live a life as love, that's what gives me the platform to really unite the people that I have. So the preacher realized at that moment the true meaning of Proverbs 23:7. And when Bible says, for it is what he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the preacher at that moment decided in his heart that he was going to be love, and so is he. And so he started out on this mission. I gotta go back. I gotta go back from this forest, from this tree stump where I had this incredible realization. And I have to go reach out to my family, each and every one of them, in a different way because they are different people. And I have to honor their uniqueness, celebrate it, but with my love, bring them all together as one family under God. So sometimes when I speak to brothers and sisters, and they ask me tons of questions about, what's it like being the daughter of the Messiah, the Lord of the Second Advent that we've all been waiting for. Your parents are supposed to be the true parents, basically meaning that they're the first man and woman to represent the victorious position that Adam and Eve should have accomplished many, many years ago. So in that family, when your father teaches ideal families. Everything is supposed to be perfect. What's going on? Why does it look so messy sometimes in your family? How can you be perfect? How can you be ideal when you are so messy? Well, a lot of people who have families and have children know the answer to this question. When you are in a family, when you're in a group setting, there are all different character types and all different strengths and weaknesses, all rubbing up against each other. That's what we mean by lovingly working through different things. But when we talk about ideal family, it doesn't mean that an ideal family is like buying a frozen dinner at the grocery store. Everything is pre-packaged, everything is pre-measured, everything is pre-cooked. All you have to do is stick that frozen dinner in the microwave it for a couple minutes, and there you have it. Perfect dinner, perfect family. Ideal families do not come about in this way. God did not package families for us to stick in the microwave and say, wow, 3 minutes later, a perfect family. The whole point and the beauty of life is that life is a journey. And life is about experiencing the highs and the lows, the narrow and the wide, the deep and the shallow, the beautiful and the ugly. Life is about experiencing all of these things. And that's what makes it beautiful. And in a family, you get to experience this in an extremely focused way, because so many emotions are running about and memories are long and the pain is deep and everyone has this and that, and how do we deal with so many issues and so many problems? Well, the answer is an ideal family does not mean a family without problems. Ideal family means that we as a family, understanding that this is something that God wants us to experience in our journey through life, does so with a grateful heart, in a loving way, because we understand that true love is the most important thing in life. And we treat all issues and all different problems that we have to work through as something that can help us become better people. So instead of being, oh my God, what's going on? The heaven is falling, the sky is falling. We take a deep breath, take a couple moments, and ask ourselves, well, if I am love, how do I deal with this in a loving way? And off we go. And that's what it means. So many times in a family setting, many times there are long histories that really need to be forgiven. We have to liberate ourselves from our parents and their parents and so on and so forth. And we have to love ourselves enough to say, we are grateful for this life. We are inspired because God is our Heavenly Father and Mother. And we are going to be proactive in our life by owning our life, deciding to do what's right, deciding to do what's good. And in that way, start creating a positive energy throughout the family and through different relationships that we have. So when you look at the true family, there are a whole lot of us. And I think there's a reason why Father stressed the number 12. In Asia, you have 12 character types that's symbolized by Asian astrology, all different animals. Like, for instance, tiger, dragon, snake, rat. And you have all these different character types. And so when you look at the true family, and God's family is supposed to kind of symbolize or be a representative of the world's family, you're going to find all those character types in the true family. But the fact that we are going in the same direction, honoring God, our Heavenly Parent, and our true parents, and wanting to build communities of true love, that's the important thing. It's the direction that we're looking towards, not how we get there, because some people will get there a little later than others. Some people might take the long way. Some people might take the short way. Some people might take the high way. Some people might take the low way or the slow way. But sooner or later, the family will get there. And that's the important thing. So, we have our true mother working hard in Korea. In Pennsylvania, we have our younger brother, Hyungjin, who is the spiritual heir and the international president of our worldwide family, and he's doing a phenomenal job in Pennsylvania. And I feel so inspired to be a part of my family and contribute something back to the world by starting this thing called iHome Church. So one of the things that we want to do at iHome Church is to kind of realize and celebrate our differences in the thing called one family under God. Because being one family doesn't mean we all have to be the same. We can be different and unique, and we need to appreciate that. And in the meantime, while we work on our individual families, the questions that we really ought to be asking is, are we doing our part in really building a home where we can create an environment of healing, where we can create an environment of oneness, not the same, but oneness, where we can create an environment that gives meaning to every member of the family, where we come from, where we need to go, why we need to love each other, and where we can create an environment of eternal encouragement in supporting and inspiring and empowering each other. And if we do that in our homes, I believe that we are one step closer to my Father's vision of each family becoming that crucial cornerstone for a peaceful and a loving world. Each family can create its own culture, its own language, if you will. And just as in the video that we saw, how incredibly important words were, we can create words in the family that is supportive, that is encouraging, that is inspiring, so that everybody in our family can be victorious and be excellent in their lives. Because after all, God is our Heavenly Parent, and we honor our true parents with our lives that have been given to us through the blessing. So I hope that in this month of May, you can continue to think about how you can contribute to make the second life cycle of our church an incredible one. And as we kind of journey on together, I hope we can share a lot of laughter, and I'm sure there will be tears along the way. But one thing that we should always ask ourselves is, who is love? And if we can answer, I am love, I will be that love, then I think that's what Father means when he said in April 18th, 1977, that the greatest gift that you can give me as to a true Father is to be that example of love, is to be that example greater than Reverend Moon. So have a wonderful Sunday and take care. Thank you.
Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? Well, let make it easier on you now. You got someone to blame. You say one love, one life, when it's one leaves in the night. One love, you get to share it. Leaves you, darling, if you don't care for it. If you don't care for it. Did I disappoint you? Or leave a bad taste in your mouth. You act like you never had love. You want me to go without. Well, it's too late tonight to drag the past out into the lights. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other. Have you come here for forgiveness? Have you come to raise the dead? Have you come here to play Jesus on me now? To the levers in your heads? Did I ask too much? More than a lot? You gave me nothing, now it's all that I got. We're one, but we're not the same. Well, we hurt each other, then we do it again. You say love is a temple, love's a high and low. Love is a temple, love's a high and low. You ask me to answer, and then you make me crawl, and I can't be holding on to what you got. All you got is hurt. One love, one blood, one life. You gotta do what you should. One life with each other, sisters and brothers. One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other.
If you have any questions and comments on the sermon that you just heard, or would like to share with us your experience of one but not the same, leave them below the video or go to my homepage enginemoon.com and use the contact form. Thank you. Bye-bye.